It's done loads. If I look back on my time from the moment I walked, I didn't walk in any door. It was during COVID, so it was all online. I came from a world that was, very much, I suppose, male dominated, into a course that had 35 people on it, and I think there was 5 men and 30 women. So that was brilliant for a start. And then the people on the course, there's a certain caliber of people on the course that I just had a great chemistry with. Really, really open, vulnerable, honest, humble group of people, and all there to help each other, really, and all at different stages in their journeys. I mean, I was obviously, as I've explained, coming out of the corporate life and looking to maybe set up the business. But I still wasn't sure when I was at the course whether I was going to do it or not. But to your question, what did it do? Well, I met a lot of very, very interesting people on the course. I have made very good friendships from the course. 3 or 4 or 5 people or more actually, that I meet face to face now, thankfully, because COVID is over, and also meet online. So that's been great. And the other aspect was, and this is probably the more powerful aspect of it, was it made me really, really sit up and take notice of my own system. So it really challenged challenged myself to look at my values and to look at my identity. Who am I? What do I represent now? I had to really sort of examine that I'm not this, sort of sales director guy in this corporate job. That's not your identity. And that's what the course kind of did for me, because it's a real deep dive on your values, first of all. And then also the values work is brilliant, but also the other aspect of it was understanding your system, which is what I've talked about already. You understand your system better. So once you understand it, and particularly if you're working it, which I am now, helping people on this journey themselves and coaching, you have to transfer that to yourself also. So you have to practice what you preach. So you have to continually work. And that's what the course did for me. It made me understand my system better. It made me understand why I act the way I do. And then more importantly, it made me understand how to change those reactions, or change that, get more emotionally regulated, as it were, and work on the EQ. So I took loads, but it personally, it's done massive amounts for me. 100% is. 100% is, because what I will do is look, not in every single conversation, but in conversations with my wife, conversations with my kids, there's I would say a large percentage of the conversations that I'll be having, or interactions that I'll have with people, outside, with my friends, with my clients, with my wider family, my brothers, my sisters, etc. When I'm in conversation, there'll be alerts will go off, is what I'd call them. There's little alerts go off as to how am I listening, for example, or is my ego taking over here? Am I actually controlling my ego here? Or am I just trying to say something for the sake of saying it because my ego is telling me to? Your empathy, focusing on, am I being empathetic enough? The self-regulation, when you do overreact, it's taught me to reflect on those things and go back and look at myself and go, God, I didn't really control myself well there. So I need to learn that the next time. So I'd never really have done that before this. I'd never have done reflection on, you would sort of go in the past, oh, you're overreacting, but you wouldn't really think too much about it. Whereas now when I reflect on things like that, I'll say, okay, that was an amygdala hydrant. That's what that was. So I really need to work on that. I need to just choose a technique that will work for me when that happens. So that's the kind of thing, it's done in externally with my relationships with, as I mentioned earlier, with all the people in my life and different new people that I meet. It's the ability to catch yourself is what it's done, really. Because I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't done the course, you know? I would say it's a wonderful opportunity to cover a lot of bases, actually. So it irrespective of what you're thinking of using it for, it will impact lots of areas of your life, as I've already alluded to. So it'll impact you internally, in terms of the way you think, in terms of the way you act, in terms of the way you are with others, in terms of the way you are with your loved ones, with your friends, with your wider community, and it'll dig into areas of your being that you probably wouldn't do if you didn't do the course. Now maybe you would, but for me, there's that aspect of it. And then from a coaching perspective, if you do decide to, because I know there's a lot of people that do the course and I really admire them. They're in full-time jobs. I was on leave when I did it, so I had lots of time, which is great. But the people that do it alongside their jobs in HR functions or L&D functions or whatever function, it's brilliant. And whatever you're going to use the course for, if you're going to become a coach, it's a marvelous differentiator, the neuroscience, for me. If you're going into it, that, as I say, differentiates it from other coaches that are out there. Like, so I'm sure they'll claim that, I know we have the other stuff, but PSG is very much defined by, like my qualification as an advanced practitioner in executive coaching with neuroscience. Like, it's in the name and it's very present in the course. So both internally for yourself, it's brilliant. You certainly learn a lot more about yourself, because that's what I found. And then externally, even if you don't go into business, it's excellent for how you deal with people and how you deal with yourself in an external sense. And then lastly, if you are going into business, it's a marvelous platform to use to launch a coaching business under the guise of the neuroscience, as well as all the other stuff that you learn on the course on how you coach people.